I speak to Bunbury on Augusta. If he's still conscious, and I think I can promise you he'll be right by Saturday, of course the music is a great difficulty. You see, if one plays good music, people don't listen. And if one plays bad music, people don't talk. But I'll run over the program I've drawn out. If you will kindly come into the next room for a moment. Thank you, Algernon. It's very thoughtful of you. Rising and follow everyone. I'm sure the program will be delightful after a few expositions of French songs I cannot possibly allow. People always seem to think that they are a problem, and either look shocked, which is vulgar, or laugh, which is worse. But German sounds are thoroughly respectful language, and indeed I believe so. Is so. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mama.
Lady Bradley and Algernon go into the music room. Gwendolyn remains behind.
Charming day it has been, Mrs. Fairfax.
Pray, don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. Whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain they mean something else, and that makes me so nervous.
I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I am never wrong.
And I would like to be allowed to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so. Mama has a way of coming back suddenly into a room that I have often had to speak to her about.
Mrs. Fairfax, ever since I met you, I have admired you more than any girl I have ever met since I met you.
Yes, I am quite well aware of the fact, and I often wish that in public, at any rate, you had been more demonstrative. For me, you have always been an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I was far from indifferent to you.
Jax looks amazing.
We live, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in age of ideal. The fact is constantly mentioned in the more expensive monthly magazine and has reached the provincial pulpits, I am told. And my ideal has always been to love someone of the same name of Ernest. This is something in the name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Ernest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You will love me, Gwendolyn?
Passionately.
Darling, you don't know how happy you made me.
My own Ernest.
But you don't really mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest?
But your name is Ernest.
Yes, I know it is. But supposing it was something else, do you mean to say you couldn't love me then?
Ah, that is clearly a metaphysical speculation, and like the most metaphysical speculations, has a very little reference at all to actual life, as we know them.
Personally, darling, to speak quite candidly, I don't much care about my name Ernest. I don't think the name suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It's a divine name. It has music of its own. It produces vibrations.
Well, really, Gwendolyn, I must say I think there's a lot of other much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, is a charming name.
Jack? No, there's very little music to the name Jack, if any at all. Indeed, it does not thrill. It produces absolutely no vibration. I have known several Jacks, and they all, without exception, were more than usually plain. Besides, Jack is notorious domesticity for John, and I pity any woman who's married to a man called John. She'll probably never be allowed to know her entrancing pleasure of a single moment's solitude. The only really safe name is Ernest.
Gwendolyn, I must get christened at once. I mean, you must get married at once. There's no time to be lost.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Well, surely. You know that I love you, and you led me to believe, Miss Fairfax, that you were absolutely indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't proposed to me yet. Nothing has been said at all about marriage. The subject has never been touched on.
And by the discussion will not go on anymore.
Ernest.
We stop it by now.